Hi, I'm George Alexander Thompson.
And I'm Ra Petherbridge.
And we are Artists at Work. It's so nice to have you with us. Today we have Dein Moore, who is the CEO and creative director of Aeon Black Creative. He is bringing us lots of lovely booze to make into cocktails.
And he's got a lovely soothing Jamaican accent, which I quite like.
He's so gorgeous,
he's
isn't
gorgeous, yeah. And his dreadlocks. Don't tell him, but I think he's gorgeous.
We won't say anything. He is bringing down some of his brands to make cocktails at Hello Darling Bar because we have done a sponsorship partnership with him.
Yeah,
where he's sponsoring our cocktail moments.
He's got incredible taste in the art of booze, I suppose, like the packaging, everything that makes something really special, which is why he's here with us, because I believe he's a true artist as well.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to be looking at the artistry of branding products.
Yeah, and branding restaurants and just how art is everywhere. Like fucking everywhere. So how are we bottom of the list in that Guardian list or whatever?
So rude.
So rude.
Where are you going to eat?
So rude.
What are you going to drink?
What are you going to look at?
Shoes you're walking around in? Do you have any news, Ra?
I do have news. It's our news. We are just about to paint, and when this comes out, you can probably go and see it. We're just about to paint the foyer of the Unicorn, but with your artwork. I can't begin to tell you how crowning achievement that is for us, and we're being so casual about it.
I'm so I go in waves of being so utterly over the moon excited about it, and then also realizing that it's quite a big deal and being absolutely terrified about it.
You shouldn't be terrified. We have done this before. It doesn't feel like it, but we have mapped up more complicated designs.
It's not a hugely complicated design, but it is very brightly coloured and expressive,
joyful,
and joyful.
Welcoming.
We wanted it to be a really sunny feature in the foyer for the Unicorn Theatre. Because it's for young audiences, isn't it?
We've had a lovely rapport with the Unicorn.
Just incredible.
I just can't begin to they've been so kind to us, and I've felt so welcome there. And they've asked us back in the most extraordinary way.
The team there is really, really incredible.
We love
Jennifer
them.
And Rob.
Jennifer
Absolutely
and
love
Rob.
you guys.
Love them so much. And really interesting, full characters. You know, if you listen to this podcast regularly, you'll know that we've brought up Jennifer before. She's incredible and a really good example of what it is to work in the arts, you know. And here we are, we're about to do it. So go and see it. I'm going to be bringing my son Phoenix.
Yeah, please. They're taking all of the stickers off the glass in London Bridge all the way along. So it will be open to
actually have a look in.
Actually view. It's quite incredible. The whole thing. Ra, your hair looks amazing today.
You can't see that because it's a podcast, does it?
Yeah,
it's
I
just
really
a
like
high
it.
pony.
Yeah, I like a high pony on you. Sorry, that was
We're
such
so easily distracted, aren't we?
change
George, do you have any news?
I think the Unicorn Theatre is my biggest news. The other news, but also joint news, is that we're about to start painting Elmo's restaurant in Woodford.
Yeah.
3 lovely guys have collaborated to open a new, really cool pizza restaurant and bar in Woodford, just outside of London in Essex. Maybe it's London. I don't know whether you should say that.
I don't know. It's London,
Woodford.
Essex. Yeah, Woodford. Anyway, it's on the Central Line. But they found us on Facebook. We got tagged in a post, and he's like, can you do this? And we were like, yeah, sure. But we went out to see them. They're the coolest people ever.
Lovely.
So sweet.
It's really, really nice to do something like that, because being invited into that space, which is obviously very meaningful to them, and it's a venture that they're putting together, there's a huge amount of trust that goes into those relationships.
We're mad.
Yeah, we
came in overalls.
Sure, we can paint this whole place like a beautiful concrete effect and then make your downstairs bar look really sexy. Not a problem.
It is not a problem, but I could understand why people would be scared, because it sounds like the impossible.
But I think that's where, and this is what I think we want to hope to achieve often with the podcast, is getting people to realize that you will, as an artist, often have that feeling of, this is too big for me, or can I cope with this? And you just have to go yes and do it.
We're both getting that a lot, the feeling of being overwhelmed by jobs, because we're more in charge of our work at the minute.
I think that's very true.
Yeah.
I've never been a designer before, and I've done it twice now.
we've done it a lot more than you think over the years, but now we're like, I'm a designer.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very hard.
And also for big spaces, like the Unicorn, like that's the importance of theatre for young audiences and what that means to me in terms of people providing those services and those shows for young people to enjoy theatre.
It could be the catalyst that changes somebody to go, oh, I want to be an artist,
really
I want to
wanna
be an
do that.
actor,
And that was part of the design, was I wanted people to look at it and go, that's achievable. That's a beautiful thing. It doesn't have to be too detailed. It doesn't have to be too microscopic. It can be
perfect.
Beautiful and bold and expressive, and you just need to show your work in that way. I think that's always been important for my work.
Look, we're doing it. We're nailing it.
It's mad.
We just need £1 billion in the bank, and then we'll be grand. By the way, just sign up to our Patreon if you can.
Oh yeah, please. Also, if you're a billionaire, give us your cash.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
So I was walking to the episode today, and I was going through, that tunnel in between London Bridge and the tube, and I had to stop because like a poem was like fucking puking out of me.
I loved this so much because I got a WhatsApp message from Ra just being like, I'm going to be late, I'm in a tunnel in London Bridge, I've got to write a poem. And I was like, that is an artist that works, it's so nice. Give it to us.
Okay, this is very scratchy because I wrote it as I just said, and it is called When Life Throws You Lemons. When life throws you lemons, brace for impact. Make a very good playlist with a cracking and well-rounded emotional arc. You will need it. Assemble your trusted team. You are never or should never be on your own. Throw out anything material in your life that makes you feel a bit shit. Dress to really impress yourself. Scream, cry, talk, walk 1,000 miles and shake. It will be difficult. Practice making healthy choices. Always be honest, even if it's not self-serving. Don't enter into the temptation of cutting open those lemons and squeezing them into your open, festering wound. It won't help. You can just go and find another fruit. You will stand up again. You will make a lot of art. That art will comfort your fellow lemon lifers. End.
That's really beautiful. I really like that. That's solid advice.
It's advice just to myself. It's just like what's good. Like we've had a mayor. It's been it's been a year.
It's been a bit of a day.
And I think this is just what I needed to hear from myself.
I think it's really impactful, and I think it is one of the important things about making art is that art, poetry, writing, music, whatever your form takes, is that it is to heal yourself. And then you heal yourself with it, but then you offer it out to other people. Like
the Poetry Pharmacy, which we sell thousands of copies of because those poems help heal others.
Yeah, exactly.
It's medicine.
And it's exactly that. And it's like, it's interesting when you look at a painting or a piece of poetry or a film, you're like, that is someone's hurt and healing process given to you as an offering. And you have to be gentle with that and you have to look after it because it's... to be able to realize those things and write them down is quite a big deal.
Pain helps people heal.
Yeah, sharing your pain with other people makes you empathetic, and empathy heals people. So
yeah, recently, and it's helping kind of inform my poetry and my writing. Not that that's my main deal; it's a hobby of mine, I suppose. But I've been watching Fried Green Tomatoes in the Whistle Stop Cafe, like on repeat. What was the last one I watched on repeat? My Left Foot.
Oh yeah, you told me about My Left Foot. I still need to see it.
Some of the most painful scenes, The Colour Purple, like these are old school hurting movies about horrible journeys that people have healed from. And I need them and I love them. And Tom Waits' Closing Time, all of these kind of albums that are bleeding and help me heal. And then I'm like, oh, I need to bleed into my work in order to heal.
Yeah.
And then hopefully I'll be able to gift that to somebody who might feel just a little bit better or related to.
Well, exactly. And anyone listening to the podcast, like if you're going through a difficult time, like we're here for you. because that's what, as artists, you have to do for other artists, is you have to look out for each other.
And also people as
And
well.
also
If you're not an
people.
artist and you're listening.
And be careful with the hobby thing. Illustration used to be my hobby, and now look at me. So your poetry, keep an eye on it.
I couldn't imagine the poetry becoming a career, because then it would ruin how spontaneous it is.
Yeah, but
I can't control it.
Oh yeah, but it doesn't have to be a career. Like with something like that, you can give a fistful of poems to an editor and a publisher and say, sort that out. I just want some pocket money.
Do you know any of them?
We'll find them. Is anyone out there a publisher?
Hello, can you come and help us? We need someone to help us. This is the thing. Let's just ignore it. Someone will come to us. They'll knock on the door one day.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think you want to find that balance. I think Chloe Wynn said this the best on the podcast in the last episode. It wasn't the last episode.
3 episodes ago, George.
I can't keep up. We're making so much great work at the moment. But Chloe Wynn said, you have to not be scared of that feeling that the work will never come, because the work will come and people will come to you. But you have to make the right steps in order to make yourself visible, in order for people to come to you and find you. Like, be active, show your work, tell people about your work.
This is why we're okay at the minute, because we have put down our CVs. We have put down any of that marketing fucking bullshit. And you know what? We're just making work. And isn't life happier for it?
It's so much better. And people see it. It's more visible. They see you making the work. And they don't ask you, what do you do? They go, oh, I like what you do.
Yeah, just ignore it. We're having a lovely time.
And also at dinner parties, tell people you're artists.
It's a hard step.
It's really difficult, but I spent forever sort of being like, oh, well, I work in hospitality. I'm an events producer, And now I'm like, I'm a designer. I'm an illustrator.
Oh, I have
I'm
another
an
poem.
artist. Oh, yes, please.
Sorry. But I haven't written it down, but I have it and I haven't written it down. It's called Fly Suicide.
Okay, get it out.
Okay. I often wonder when I'm painting and I see insects in the paint and they're not going to live. They're not going to make it. They must know through repetition and inherited, kind of pain and trauma that if they go in the wet paint, they'll die. Do insects commit suicide? End.
That is profound. I don't know the answer to the question, but I know that they really go for booze because they like the sugar and the alcohol.
Oh my God.
I think they just think it's booze and they go in the paint. They think
Do flies get drunk?
Yeah. Have you never seen a drunk fly? That is a YouTube deep
Oh my
delve.
God,
You
okay.
There's one on Graham Norton where it goes in like Bradley Cooper's drink or something and then it's staggering around. It's hysterical.
Oh, I love it. Oh, that was a nice poetry moment.
I really like that. That's gorgeous.
Oh,
Thanks,
thank
babe.
you.
Good poetry.
No worries.
Rob, what's your favourite thing?
What's my favourite thing? I can tell you what my favourite thing, George, is.
What is it?
Decaf coffee.
Oh, that's my least favourite thing.
It's okay. So I realised at Don's Le Internet that decaf coffee is 30% caffeinated, pretty much. So it's like still caffeinated, and I have switched my morning coffee to a decaf coffee, and I'm much better because I went through I can't really do caffeine. I don't fucking need it. I'm plenty energetic. And I tried a matcha coffee.
Oh, yeah?
That was fucking horrible. It was like gritty. And do you remember that time, Alex? Our producer's next to us. Alex, do you remember that time that I got a turmeric latte at the feckin'...
Oh, yeah, that's not right.
And I was upset. There was a lot of crap in there that I didn't want to eat. It tasted like sand and earth, and it was just really upset me. Decaf coffee. I've nailed it. I know what I like now.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I got told by a very long time ago, when I had a personal trainer, he was like, you have to give up caffeine, you have to give up tobacco, you have to give up everything.
Did you hit him?
Almost. I came fucking close. And I went back in like a week later and I was like, yeah, I've not had a single coffee. I've just been drinking green tea. He was like, that's full of caffeine. I was like,
Caffeine's a sneaky one. It's even in chocolate. Do you know what I mean? And my life is so much more functional when I don't take stimulants.
I really like caffeine. I like that 3 espresso buzz after dinner. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely don't. I've got 2 minutes. The half life of coffee lasts for fucking 8 hours. That, to me, that's wild.
Yeah,
and
sure.
that, I have such bad sleep problems. I do not need caffeine in my life.
You really like the way that you don't sleep is really bad.
So if I really, really do need a coffee, fucking decaf. That's my favourite thing right now.
That's really good.
Thanks.
I have finally got the perfect scissor collection. I have got a really beautiful pair of fabric scissors.
People comment on those fabric scissors all the time.
Anytime I'm on a job, people are like, "Oh, where did you get those scissors?" But then I was like, I can't use these for anything else apart from fabric. So I got a really beautiful pair of paper scissors, which I'm in love with at the moment because I'm making my trays. So I'm cutting lots of circles. And then I got my pinking shears. So I now have a box with 3 sets of scissors that is all I need.
Oh, George, that is nice.
That's a cool thing to have. Like I finally have one for each job.
Do you know what I want to say?
Perfect.
One time in like 5 years or whatever, because we've done a 5-year and 10-year kind of goal sheet. I really want to say in 5 years' time, what's your favourite thing? Go on, ask me what my favourite thing is.
What's your favourite thing?
The studio that we're in right now and all the space that we have to create.
Oh, that's a nice goal. That's a really nice goal.
That would be my favourite thing.
That would be my favourite thing if we had a studio together.
Yeah.
A really big one.
Where we employ loads of our friends.
Employ loads of people, make loads of stuff. We're shipping stuff all over the world. Got some very efficient person there who's not an artist being like, don't you worry, I've got the admin.
Yeah, there's a bit
Do you know what I mean? Like,
don't worry, you're on the front page of The Guardian today and you don't have to think twice about it.
I did a job with Rasheen once when she was...
Rasheen McQuarrie.
Yeah, and she was shipping art. So I was packing art from a show into boxes, and she was photographing the art, she was labeling the art, she was listing the art, she was putting it all into the computer. Her brain was just beautifully shipping all of this work to 5 different locations in 8 different countries, like without even... It was so nice to watch her do it because I was like, none of that shit, if I was doing it, would go to the right place.
Yeah, fair.
You know?
Fair. Anyway, I think maybe we should add that to favourite things. Like, what will be our favourite thing?
Yeah, future faves.
Yeah, future faves.
What are your future faves?
That's another thing I've been doing, a little bit of self-care. Current me likes to plant little pops of brilliance for future me. So like the other day I made myself a superfood salad, put it in the fridge. And then the next day, me was like, thanks, Past Ra.
I've been doing that a lot recently. I will hide stuff around the place. I put a chocolate bar in my bag the other day, and then I used a different bag for 3 days at work. And then when I got back to the other bag, I was like,
Thanks,
well done,
George.
mate. It's really good.
It's really nice. Yeah, let's add that to our favourite things.
Because I have that with my other future fave is a headdress by Isla Campbell.
We're going to get it.
Which I'm getting.
Don't worry, we'll get
We're
it.
gonna
Just
get it.
point and pout, we'll get it for you.
I want that one.
Yeah, we're going to get it.
Hi, welcome, Dane. It's so nice to have you with us.
George, Ra, thanks for having me. It's good to see you both again in the same space, you know?
Very, very much so. So, like, welcome. We first met, I met you through that lovely photo shoot that we did with Callista Kazuko.
Yes, we were fortunate enough to take over the Century Club, and that was for the Night Champagne, a client of ours that we're going to take on for drinks.
It's a very beautiful champagne.
Oh, thank you.
Like,
It
those
was so
shots.
delicious just being able to like drink it on site as well, like taste it. It was really nice.
At me. Okay.
Before we get into that, do you want to just give us the lowdown on who you are and what you do and your company?
Right. So my name is Dein Moore. I'm the founder of Aeon Black Creative. We're a creative agency based in London. We do a lot of work across Europe in general. So that includes mostly marketing campaigns, promotional things, events, and most recently now drinks. But our drinks actually has a different name. So now we're called Key Drinks. So that's going to be the operation on that side. And we kind of just hope to take over London with what we're doing.
Awesome. That's
Okay,
the kind of
nice.
attitude that we fucking love.
Yeah, exactly. Because one of the reasons we wanted to have you on was because Ra and I are really keen for people to understand how much
Art.
creativity and art goes into building brands and marketing
absolutely.
brands.
Yeah.
And it's important for people to know that, I guess.
No, of course. So, it starts off with either you making your own thing or you work with someone who actually has their own product ready. People on different levels, obviously. So some people just starting out. So that tends to be more brand design, product ideas, where they see themselves, how they envision their product to be. So that's different qualities, different levels, different locations of a certain area or a certain country or something like that. And then we kind of give them some consulting ideas as to where they should be and how they should conduct themselves. The other ones that are a bit further on, they already have everything sorted. They just need to get things on the ground floor running. So that tends to be either events or promotional things. And through our connections, we just try to make things work. So whether that's at bars, restaurants, clubs, depending on what the brand needs, especially now, mostly leaning on the digital side of things. So making videos, photos, promotional materials, that kind of stuff.
And of course, this is all just artists, isn't it, that you need to employ?
Well, that's the nice thing about having a creative agency is that you have the flexibility to be creative.
Yeah.
And it just depends on what they need. So really, it's down to me, which is a fun way of working. So it's figuring out how to get paid. And once you do that, then really it's just piling everything else on top.
So you're a curator of sorts, I suppose, aren't you?
So I've been doing a lot of talks because we've been doing stuff in the NFT space recently with a lot of creatives. I should talk about that. Shout outs to Nahid Shahalimi. She's a beautiful artist. She has a commission on Audrey Hepburn's son. So we did a collaboration together and she paints in wax. She's amazing.
Paints in wax?
Yeah.
Oh, we got to check
That's
this
awesome.
out.
That's brilliant.
Oh,
Yes,
amazing.
we already have this on OpenSea. It's still kind of up for grabs. We have 92 copies of that. Sorry, I forget where I was going with
No, that's fine. We are all about a tangent. So this is like you are just continuously engaging with incredible artists because that's how I've met you.
That's the way. So the way I like to see it is my role seems to be like glue these days. So it's pulling people together, seeing who can work and what can work. And then I kind of fill in the spaces that need to be filled in. So I do some editing myself. I do some shooting myself.
You're a graphic designer as well,
Yes,
aren't you? Yeah.
musician, that kind of stuff. So it really depends on what's needed at the time. So if I need to record something for, some video that's being done, or I need to, help out with editing on some artwork because there's no space for that to be happening, then I push myself in those directions. If I have to make connections at members clubs, events, wherever else they need to be, then it's just a matter of hitting the ground and just talking to the people that I need to talk to.
So you're like a dream weaver.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a lot better than glue.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
How beautiful.
Because that's how we all hung out together when we did the photo shoot for Night Champagne with Calista, which was absolutely amazing. And that was literally, it was finding different people to all work together in that space to create those images.
Beautiful,
which were
Christmas
wonderful.
seasonally. Oh, gorgeous. They were just so beautiful. We'll be connecting all of the images that we did then, and we'll probably take some images today and we'll show you the kind of thing that
I would
Dane
hope so.
does. Yeah, of course.
I mean, I brought a lot of stuff for you to try as
We're
well.
very
so if
excited
you-
to try some of your brands.
Definitely,
we
please.
should probably fire ahead with our traditional interview.
Yeah, of course.
So what we usually ask people first is, how did it all start for you? Like as a creative mind?
So, I think it was music in general, because I'm also a massive nerd. I wanted to develop games, and I went to study that. It didn't really pan out in the way I thought it was because it's really hard to do. So I just figured, okay, I don't really want to get into learning how to make AI. My family's all musicians. My dad's from London. Do I want to make a connection here so that I can come back and, establish myself in something? So I gave music a go. It was a good run for a while. I was writing some stuff for some other people on different professional levels, had a contract with Sony for a couple of years. So that was really cool. But that was kind of where I got the base of where I could get away with stuff and what I could do and how I could run. Ended up working in social media. I did some stuff for Jax Jones for a while, my sister, Dein Moore as well, helping out with promotional materials, songwriting, that kind of thing, just dabbling in different areas. And then eventually ended up at a startup called Job Today. So when I was there, they made me the face of that company for a while, which was hilarious.
Incredible, isn't it?
It was just funny. It was really funny. They were taking pictures on the job interview.
Yeah.
And they selected me for it for some reason. It was just weird because I don't think they were thinking about it. They just looked at me and they thought, yeah, why not?
You're quite handsome.
I mean, I'm really
You're
awkward.
giggling now. I'm blushing now. Sorry, carry on.
I'm really awkward about doing this. I get quite nervous in shoots and stuff like that. So it's always been a weird, contradicting thing for me.
I think everyone gets nervous when a camera is shoved in their face. It's hard to know what to do.
Oh, but you think I'd get used to it by now, but it's, interviews are a lot easier, but everything else is
for
a little bit messy. But so ended up doing that for a few months, so about 5-6 months, and then I got a call from LinkedIn, And they were like, "Do you want to work for us?" I was like, "Yeah,"
Cool.
immediately. So I just
that's
left.
incredible.
I was with them for 4 years, and then I had a business partner. We got on working in social media there, and after that, it was just, well, we really like each other. We get on really well. Do you want to start a company together? And we did, and it was called Stat Media. So we're doing that for a while, and I quickly realized that I didn't like being in a space where I'm just working on a computer, websites, apps. That's what we were doing at the time. We're looking for some investment in an app, and then it just kind of took us to Munich. So I had clients over there, so I was just kept going back monthly. And then I got introduced to this tequila. So I got introduced to Padre Azul. And I wasn't sure at the time. I didn't know anything about the drink industry. But then as soon as I saw their bottle, and they just have these amazing,
it's stunning, isn't it?
striking
Absolutely
designs.
gorgeous.
Very specific skull on top, quite weighty, quite heavy. A leather kind of jacket on the
really
bottle
rock.
itself.
It's really
exactly.
metal.
I remember you coming to the photo shoot and you had like that sort of
briefcase.
It looked like, it's like a gun case, like boom, with this like sexy bottle inside it. It's amazing.
Oh, absolutely. So for me, that was the thing. It's just the fact that they had the balls to kind of just do that, and you're like. And it costs £100. And you're like, wow. Okay. I have no idea what you're doing with this, but I just like the attitude. So you know what? Let's try and make this work.
Cool.
So I brought it to London. I talked to a lot of my friends, and it just opened a different reality for me. I just realized that not only can I talk to owners of companies, but I have something that they can now sell. And it just was like, ding, light bulb. Like, okay, this is how we tie everything together. So,
and also there's something about the drinks industry, isn't there, that is so community-based.
Yeah.
And that people want to have those conversations. People want to sit down and try drinks together. They want, it's sort of you saying that you don't want to be on your computer the whole time. It gives you that complete new world of experience, doesn't it?
Well, as someone who had a previous life in music, still somewhat, but not as seriously, it feeds that need to, talk to people and engage with other people and have them enjoy themselves, especially in events and everything else. You want to provide a different thing. And, just sitting behind a computer working on social media campaigns for like the 50th time, you're like,
yeah, sure.
It's not the same.
It's a bit ho-hum, you just like to be in the Century Club sipping tequila with somebody
It's just a better way to live.
But then also that's content. And that's, like I said, light bulb. So it was immediately like, no, we can do all of this at the same time. It made the most sense.
And it does make sense, and it's working, which I'm in admiration
Yeah,
of.
God, I hadn't even thought of that. Like sort of like the backstage photos of just that experience of being at the Century Club, drinking that brand on a photo shoot. Like that in of itself is brilliant content. Like
Exactly.
That's genius.
So
Wow.
It's really clever.
Wow, I didn't think of that. But over the past few years, you've had quite an incredible journey. Has there been anything you find particularly tricky?
Oh, it's all tricky. It will never not be, and I've learned that so well. So the first thing, like I said, I had that light bulb moment, and I thought, okay, cool. Nobody else is doing this, right? Like, definitely nobody else is doing this. So obviously, there's a lot of companies doing this.
Oh, yeah.
But not only have they been doing it, they've been doing it for like 20 years, and they're $1 billion worth companies. So Gary Vayner, I think, is the most popular one. He has a creative agency.
I've never heard of it.
Gary Vayner. So he's a very popular salesy kind of guy, but he also has his own wines.
Oh, okay.
Now in the NFT space as well. And like I said, you just think you're doing something, that no one else has done.
What is the NFT space? I don't know.
Okay, all right. To sidetrack a little bit, because this might be a whole different. All right, let's finish the first topic first.
Okay.
Let's get back to it, because that's a whole nother rabbit hole. But yes, so like I was saying, you think you're doing something original, and you realize very quickly that you're not.
Yeah.
So how do you make this work? So for me, it was the idea of special things only.
Yeah.
Because really that doesn't mean anything, but it means everything at the same time. Like if you talk to someone or you talk to a brand and you think to yourself, well, we're for only special things, like, okay, then you need to have a different approach when you talk to us.
There's a lovely romance to that. It's like, oh no, we only do special things.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And again, whatever
So
that
then
means.
you can always be on the top shelf. So that's a
Pretty
wonderful,
much. Pretty much.
unique selling point, isn't
It's
it?
it's a really nice way to do it. I've worked with companies before that have like tiered programs.
Yeah.
They're like we've got our high range, we've got our mid range, and then we've got like our bulk.
The thing that
ranges.
pays for everything.
Yeah, and it's actually quite nice to distance yourself from that and go, no, we want this really cool, sexy stuff. That's what we focus on. That's what we're doing.
No, but also we don't need to be Coca-Cola.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we don't have to be. So if we want to make something special or something that runs money for us, that could be the marketing campaigns. Because we don't pay for that, the brands pay for that, and that's kind of where things float. But even then, trying to convince them that they need to do something difficult, and trying to get into a space that Heineken has bought out, the entire bar, for example. Difficult.
Well, that does happen, doesn't it?
Well, so many pubs in the UK struggle because there's so
people.
much craft beer going on in the UK at the moment, but you can't stock it in your pub because Heineken say, well, you can't have that in the pub.
Do that.
Like, you have to sell this many pints.
So your struggle was finding your USP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just, places that will take us on. It just depends on where you are. Because the nice thing also about going very high range is that they're probably willing to give you a try, because if your thing is interesting enough or the quality is high enough, then it's like, cool, why not? Let's give it a chance. That's like, you're insane, but sure, let's put on the shelf and see what happens.
That's really quite gutsy, actually. I like that you go for the top.
But I think that's where I see so much art in it, because it's that aspect of being an artist where you're saying, no, you can go there and buy this. You can
get
buy
your
clothes
IKEA
like this.
art.
You can do this. But if you want this high end,
exactly.
If you want boutique, if you want bespoke, you come to us and we'll sort you out with it.
Pretty much.
This is
you found your comfort zone. Wow, that's admirable. Really.
Well, not just that, and like I said, it's partially the slogan as well. Because once we had that and we had the right brands that are on board with us, they make connections to the other people that you need to meet, because it's like, no, we get exactly what you are. And that's how we met Stephen Webster, and we're doing stuff with them as well. Okay. So that campaign gets launched this week on the 13th. Basically, if you go in to try on their jewelry, we have a little bar set up where I have a staff member that just makes cocktails.
Yay!
So
we need to go.
Of course.
Like, let's go.
Don't worry about it. I'll sort it out. But again, these are
really
the ideas. You know what I'm saying? So when we say special things only, we mean stuff like that. Because, usually you go to a tailor or whatever, they're doing your measurements. They give you champagne, and we thought, no, we can do a little bit better than that. Like, we can make you a nice cocktail. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice. It's like getting a cup of coffee and a hairdresser. You're like, it sort of needs to be champagne, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then when you go to a really nice jewelry store, you want a sexy cocktail. I think that's brilliant.
Like when I went, one of my friends works at Nicky Clark in Mayfair, and for my wedding, he said, "Can I fucking sort out your hair? Because there's like 17 years of dyeing of different colours and all kinds of shit." And I sat down, I was given a glass of champagne, and it was like, oh, this is a life moment. And I always hold on to that. And the drink meant so much of that, about that moment, you know what I mean? And it wasn't fucking Tesco Prosecco. It was proper fucking champagne.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant.
But nice. So I love how incredibly positive you are. I was like, what were your struggles? Your struggles just sounded so positive. What?
Fair enough.
It's really, I really admire that. But is there any points that you remember that have just made your heart sing?
Yeah, like mind-blowing happy moments.
Oh, wow. The Lamborghini Christmas party. That was awesome.
I want to go.
I want to go to that.
So we did that in 2019. And it's a funny story how it came about, right? So when I got the tequila, I had no idea what I was supposed to be doing or how I should approach brands or whatever else.
Yeah.
So I figured, well, this is high end, they're high end. They can afford to pay like 20K for an event, right? Like they'll definitely do that. So, I contacted someone, and immediately, of course, they told me to fuck off. Like that was just, like, no, this is not going to happen. But my friends ran Monkey House, so I went into their bar, introduced the tequila. I said, like, okay, I have this idea. Maybe we want to do a launch event for them. Can we do something? They told me to fuck off as well. So it was like, okay, fair enough, sure. So I started running around doing what I was supposed to be doing, just trying to, figure out, how does this work? How do you get drinks behind bars?
Yeah.
And like a month later, I get a call from Monkey House. So I went back in and we had a chat, and they're like, oh, you know Haley from Lamborghini, right? Because she mentioned you. And it's like, oh, okay, the lady I talked to once in an email. Yeah, of course, I know her very well. So they're like, oh, yeah, cool. So you do events, right? Do you actually want to handle this? And I'm like, yes. Like, can I bring my tequila? Yes. So it was literally
Fucking hell.
just
That's
tick.
incredible, isn't it?
From what they told me, no, both of them in the
Yeah.
beginning was just immediately like a month later, like, oh, hang on.
So that's the
go and do it.
importance of making those connections and being brave enough to
Well,
go
for whatever
there.
reason, she just remembered me and she mentioned, I think they probably just both mentioned my name in a meeting somewhere. And it was like, yeah, why are we not doing
And how
this?
did it feel when you were told yes? Like what did that feel
Oh,
like?
that was incredible because it was one of those things where you don't get these clients very often, especially at our level. We're only 5 people, so it's hard to say that someone's going to take us seriously on that level.
Yeah.
So the fact that we could like make ice sculptures with the Lamborghini logo embedded in it, like with orange peel frozen inside, and on the tracks was tequila
hell.
shot rails and just all this
that's so
stupid stuff
nice.
that we were doing. And we made custom animations that were projected onto the walls for the guests that were coming in. So we had like a literal
It's incredible,
Wow.
isn't it? It's so
animated
incredible.
GIF of Monkey House's logo and Lamborghini's logo, and it was like snowdrops all the way throughout the whole thing, So to see people like literally just putting up their phones and take like staff members, high-ranking members in Lamborghini, just literally just taking videos of stuff that you've done, like they were very impressed, but they have no idea that you did it.
Yeah. That's a
That-
beautiful
You
moment.
really
That's
are a
really cool.
curator of like
That's such
special
I've
things.
really never thought about it like that, and it's such a nice way to say that because that is an event. It's like a curated moment where you're bringing branding, marketing, product, all
And
of
I've,
it together.
like in
it's
our career,
amazing.
we've done so much of that kind of event where like people go, "Can you put the Lamborghini logo in ice?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah, sure. And then you're trying to figure it
You're
out
like
somewhere else.
YouTubing how
Yeah,
to do
exactly.
that.
How to do
It's like,
this.
okay, ice sculpture. What do I need? But that's an incredible highlight.
That's really
incredible.
It was really cool.
That's amazing.
What keeps you going? What sort of motivates you to push yourself forward?
Well, I'm quite lucky that I've never had that thing where being told no is a problem for me. So I know so many people that's the real problem, right? That you get told no, so you never really move on from that. You lose 2 weeks of your life because you're sad or whatever. I'm just lucky I can just take that on the back and just walk away. So for me, what keeps me going is just knowing I have this idea of where we should be, and then just seeing if we can hit it. So even if we come close to that, I'm still quite happy. It's that's it really.
That's
It's very simple.
literally what I do.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have 5 and 10 year goals, and I'm like, this is where we're heading. Let's try. We're going to have fun on the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I love how positive you are. That's
And
so
that message
incredible.
is so important. I mean, I think performers get you really good performers can go to auditions and then they don't get it and they're like, next one, next one, like what next? Like it's always that pushing forward and being like, well, that
I
didn't
don't
work
think
out,
I
do
get
something else.
told no.
Oh wow! Well, lucky you.
No, but like because I just hide behind people like George, and I'm like, and he's like, "You're working in the Unicorn Foyer on Tuesday," and I'm like,
No,
I'm
but you
like,
both
okay.
are incredibly talented. Like when I met you both
thank
through
you.
Callisto, it's like we have to do something.
But that's
So-
how I ended up working with you. I think Callista messaged me and she's like, "You're doing a photo shoot at the Century Club," and I'm like,
But isn't
"Great."
that wild? Like I love the way these things work out. Like Callista and my partner Ali used to do music together at university. They've been best friends for years. Then I started styling. Callista was like, come and style my photo shoots.
Yeah.
Then Dane was shooting the champagne, and it was just this gorgeous circle of, I mean, you could call it nepotism, but actually it's just like
No,
creative
it's
people really
exactly.
working together and knowing what they want to
It's
formulate
when I
together.
see a
It's really
shiny
nice.
bean like yourself or like George, I'm like, be my friend.
No, of course,
Yeah.
immediately, right? And I think it's important. That's the most important part of it as well for
Yeah.
creatives, because it's so easy to get lost in everything else because there's so many distractions. You're your own boss. Nobody's telling you what to do. And I've definitely had these problems as well when you know. Another funny story, because every now and then I catch up with all of our clients, so especially the drink ones.
Yeah.
And over the lockdown, the Padre Azul guys, they gave me a call and they were like, so we noticed in the past year that you've gone through 27 samples. Is there a reason for that?
No.
I mean, it wasn't a problem, but it was just kind of funny to, just the people that get you immediately to just know, like, come on, it's fine. But,
Yeah.
we like the way you work, you know how we work, blah, blah, blah. Try not to have 27 samples in a year.
Oopsies.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But also, like it's a real tricky one with that. Like I've done sampling events for product before, and you can really go through it if you're trying to sell something to a lot of people.
Oh, of course.
You need to show people the product.
You just like that's it. Just sounds like you both, the people that are in front of me, are chancers, and that's I think how we get anywhere in life is just by taking
you
a chance.
meet and then you're like, no, I get you. I get exactly what we are. We have to do something.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
being abused in the creative industry as well, especially music, that kind of helps you steer towards the right direction.
You understand what's good and what's bad and what's a red flag.
And exactly. Playing very awful gigs in very awful basements with very awful promoters, but you still meet good people within those spaces. And at some point, you're like, you know what? We should do something together. And then it just builds from there.
I think that's such a nice expression. It's like when you meet someone, and like maybe that's something our listeners should take on board. It's like if you meet those people in those moments,
Like
just
give you a good gut feeling.
let's do something together.
Yeah.
Let's do it. And then actually do it. Don't just do the let's go for lunch. Like actually go hang out and
Book in a date, get a venue, do a thing. Like that's how it happens. You make a
Especially
call.
now we can. It's been a year of not being able to do that.
Goodness.
To be fair.
Don't remind me.
It's just like, oh.
That's where most of the samples went, to be honest with you. Housemates, house parties, it was a year.
Yeah, it's been a real old
Fires,
year, hasn't
clients,
it?
bars.
Well, marketing purposes, it's fine.
Oh gosh.
Amazing.
I love how, you're a wonderful example of how somebody who knows what they want, who knows what their vibe is, goes with it, doesn't give a shit if someone says no, and you're just nailing it and you're having fun all the way along. It's been gorgeous talking to you.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
and it's really lovely seeing what you're creating. It's so special.
Well,
It's
we're going to
awesome.
have a whole day of it as
exactly.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm excited to see what you guys are going to make together. I'm just going to watch it.
Yeah, so Jane's bought some booze with him, and
Yes,
we're gonna go make some cocktails
Shall
now.
we do that?
That sounds
do it.
Let's have a
fantastic.
cocktail
Yep.
moment.
Okay, great. Welcome. We are at Hello Darling in Waterloo.
I'm also here.
We're here with Dane Moore from Aeon Black Creative. And tell us what you've brought us this week.
All right, so I brought you some treats. The first one we're having is the Abacati avocado liqueur. So this is from an old recipe from the Amazon rainforest. And these guys are from Belgium, I think that's where they're from. And yeah, they just revived the entire menu, and they've done such a beautiful job of this mixture itself. I was very surprised because I was quite skeptical until I actually tried it. And this is such an elegant, vegan, sustainable spirit.
It's the most gorgeous colour. Like, it's a beautiful mint green.
Yes.
It's really fragrant. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I didn't think it would smell like that. It smells beautiful.
It's quite creamy, so the way I like to picture this is like a vegan Baileys, if you will.
Oh, fuck, that's great.
Oh, it's like Bailey's, but without making me feel like it's
Exactly.
after Christmas Day dinner.
Exactly.
Because it's not too
quite
sweet.
as heavy.
It's quite
not
savoury
too
in a
thick,
way.
Exactly.
What is that flavour?
So this is made with rum and avocado. So avocado keeps it creamy, of course, and gives it that lovely color. But then the rum kind of gives it that texture and, the alcohol as well.
I'm really impressed by that. If I'm honest, when I saw it, I thought it was maybe a bit gimmicky, but that is a really delicious drink. That's
No, they know what
stunning.
they're doing. And as I said, I was skeptical myself, so I'm very surprised that this came out.
That's really fresh, and I want to have it, like in the winter or in the summer.
You will have it.
I will. I'm gonna.
What would be the place that you buy it? Is it available at the moment?
It's available directly through us. We're working on our own delivery routes, but I think we're going to keep this quite special to certain locations just to kind of, see how things go with the market in the beginning. We'll be partnering with Double Dutch online, so that's where we'll be selling things in the store. And we'll see how it
Okay,
goes from there.
perfect. And then presumably if you go on their website, they'll have stockists and which bars they're in and stuff like that.
Oh, of course, absolutely. I mean, directly from us as well. So we're called Key Drinks. That's our drink site. And
nice.
it'll be available through our website.
Okay, perfect. I really love that.
Oh, this is amazing.
Oh, thank you so much for bringing that.
That is absolutely,
That's delicious.
Again, the biggest surprise that I went through when it came with this. That's gorgeous.
I can't get over. Also, the sloth on the front is so beautiful. The logo's amazing. The bottle's gorgeous.
You know, it's all about
taking
taking as well is the tequila anejo. If
Okay.
you mix it with that, or you mix it with a little bit of rum, it's beautiful thing.
Really nice.
Which you probably should do now.
Thank you, friends, for tuning into Artists at Work. That was our special episode with Dane at Hello Darling. Dane will be back with us again with lots of gorgeous cocktail moments in the next upcoming episodes, so do keep tuned in. If you'd like to support this podcast, an independently made podcast, you can do so monetarily by going to www.patreon.com/artists@work. And I mean, the best way to support us is just tell a friend. Tell somebody to tune in. If you like us, if you love listening to me and George, tell your friends. That'd be nice. I hope you're all well, keeping safe and keeping well in these odd times to be alive. I don't know how to end it. Oh gosh, I've done this about 17 times. I think this is the best one though. Over.